Hello, Year 3. It's Mrs. Doran here again. So this morning we're going to do some maths, and as you know, we've been looking at doing some time, and you've been learning all about different times. So today we're going to be looking at a different thing, and if you look at the learning attention, it's I know how to measure time in seconds. So the first activity that I'd like you to do, don't start doing it yet, so just wait a minute, is think about how many times can you clap your hands in 15 seconds. There's a few questions around here for you to think about as well. So what could you use to time 15 seconds? What else maybe could you do in this time? And how are you going to record this? Okay, so have a little think about those questions. Right, so the first question, what could you use to time it? Now, if we were at school, we'd go and get the timers, but as we're at home, some people might not have a timer. So why don't you use something like a mobile phone or an iPad? I think most of those have got like a timer app on them. So off you go see if you can find one of those. Okay, you done it your back? Good. Right, the next thing says how can you record it? Well, you could just write down however many claps, so like 23 claps. And what else can you do in this time? Well, we'll come back to that question. I don't think I'd be able to run around the block. Do you? No? What do you think? Right, so I'm going to ask you to pause me here, and I'm going to ask you to carry out that activity to see how many times you can clap in 15 seconds. You ready? Okay, off you go. Pause me now. Right, you back? Have you done that? I had let into a little secret. I did it earlier. I did it twice, and both times I did 36 claps in 15 seconds. Did you beat me, I wonder? Probably, I think. Okay, so I don't know what you thought about 15 seconds. Did you think it's quite long? Do you think it's quite short? When I was clapping my hands, I was surprised how long it took. But actually, when you look at the kind of all the rest of the different measurements of time, seconds are one of the smallest measurements of time that we use, aren't they? So when you think about what else can you do in this time, well, as I said before, you probably couldn't go for a jog around the park, but you might be able to do something like eat a biscuit. It's not a long amount of time, and we have to keep that in our head. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, yes. So we talked about writing down and recording our results, but how else could you record these times? So the first time here says 15 seconds, then we've got 33 seconds, and 65 seconds. Right, have a little think. If you want to pause me again, you can. Right, you ready? You've had a little think? So the first one, how else could you write these times for 15 seconds? Well, you might have come up with lots of suggestions, but my suggestion is just writing 15, and I'm going to use abbreviation of S, which means seconds. Can you see? It's the first letter. So 15S is 15 seconds. So if you did 15 meters, talking about different lengths of time, measurement. So 15 meters would be 15m. So when we write 15 seconds or any seconds, we write 15s. So for 33, now that you know, it's going to be easy. So you write 33, and then we write, that's right, an S for seconds. Now the last question might be a bit of a trick. Did you spot it? Because it says 65 seconds. There are two ways we can write that. So we could write 65 S, or, as I'm sure you know, there are 60 seconds in a minute. So we could write 1, no, we can't write 1m, because that'd be 1 meter. So the abbreviation is 1 min. Okay, and 5 seconds. So 65 subtract 60 is 5. So it's 1 minute and 5 seconds. Did you get our trick? Well done if you did. So that's how we record seconds, by using an S abbreviation. Okay, now here you can see a stopwatch. Well, obviously not a real one. So on the stopwatch, there's a time. Can you see the time? There we go, it's there, isn't it? So what I want you to think about is the time recorded on the stopwatch. So the time taken on the stopwatch is more than blank seconds, but less than something seconds. So let's look at the time. So the first two digits on the stopwatch refer to minutes. Have we got any minutes? There's 0, 10 minutes, 0, 1 minute, so no minutes. Now we've got a colon, so everything on this side is to do with seconds. So this is minutes, and then we've got the seconds. Have we got any 10 seconds? No, but we have got 5 seconds. And then we've got some little numbers here, which we're going to in a second. There you go. Do you like where second says second? So the time is more than 5 seconds. But we know, because that doesn't say 6, that's less than 6 seconds. Now, it needs to come back and have a little look at these numbers here. Can you see? There's little numbers there which say 24. Now, this is where it gets confusing because some people, in fact, most people, refer to these, which are parts of a second, as milliseconds. However, when we look here, we've only got 2 digits. Let me rub that out so you can see a bit clearer. So we've only got 2 digits. So those parts of a second are centiseconds. You ever heard of that? It's a weird word. Do you know what a centisecond is? Have a think and I'll give you a clue. So a centisecond is 100th of a second. So guess how many centiseconds there are in a second? There are 100 centiseconds. Look how I write centiseconds. It's the abbreviation CS equal 1 second. 1S. Well, we know that because we've got a clue, because obviously the first part of the word centi means 100th. So that gives a clue, like a centimetre as well. Lots of people think that this represents a millisecond. It doesn't, because if it was a millisecond, you'd have to have a 0 here. So you need to remember that there are 100 centiseconds in a second. So 100 centiseconds equals second. And these little numbers on the timer represent centiseconds. Now, we know that the time taken is more than 5 seconds, because it says 5 here. It's less than 6 seconds, because we've only got 24 centiseconds. But if we had to plot that on a number line, how would we do that? Tricky. So what I've done down here is I've got a number line. It says 5S, 5 seconds here at this end, and then at this end here it says 6S, 6 seconds, because we know that 5 seconds and 24 centiseconds is in between. It's somewhere in between 5 and 6 seconds. Now I'm looking at this and thinking, it's going to be a bit tricky. I know I'm going to just draw something to help me. So I'm going to draw a little red line there, which is in the middle, so halfway between 5 seconds and 6 seconds. So halfway between 5 seconds and 6 seconds, how many centiseconds would that be? Yeah, you're right. So this would be 50 excuse my writing, centiseconds. Okay, so that's giving me a bit of a clue. Okay, so 5 seconds and 50 centiseconds is halfway between 5 seconds and 6 seconds. Now I've got here, how many centiseconds have I got? 24. Okay, so I know that 24 is not more than 50. So I know it's not going to go in the section here. So I'm looking in here. I also know that 25 is halfway between 0 and 50 centiseconds. So therefore, 24 must go about halfway between 5 seconds and here. It's about here, I think. So I'm going to have to label it here. So that is 5 seconds and 24 centiseconds. Okay, can you see? There we go. So I have plotted 5 seconds and 24 centiseconds on my number line. Now, this is really handy because it tells me if I was going to round it up. So did it take me 5 seconds or 6 seconds to run, I don't know, from here to the door? Well, let's have a little look. So 24, if I was rounding, is 24 closer, 5 seconds and 24 centiseconds closer to 5 seconds, or is it closer to 6 seconds? What do you think? Yeah, if you said it's closer to 5 seconds, you're right. I've drawn my line here because the difference between 5 seconds and 5 seconds, 24 centiseconds, is only 24. And then look, I'm going to draw a big line here. You can see, can't you? It's a massive line here to 6 seconds. So if I was doing my rounding, I would round 5 seconds and 24 centiseconds to 5 seconds. I'd round down. Okay, so I'm rounding, I'd round down because there's a shorter distance on my number line to get to 5 seconds than there is to get to 6 seconds. Did you get that? So all I've done there is I've rounded 5 seconds and 24 centiseconds down to 5 seconds. Okay, you got that. Right, so let's go to the next slide. So on here, what we need to do next is we need to round these times to the nearest second. Now there is a very easy way to do this. Okay, so I'm going to help you. If we look here, there you go, it's got my handy hint. So you round up to the next second if there are 50 centiseconds or more. If there's less than 50 seconds, you round down. So let's do the first one together. So looking at this, we've got 10 seconds here, we've got 0 minutes, and we've got 83 centiseconds. So we know that our answer is either going to be 10 seconds, or we know that one more than 10 seconds is 11 seconds. So let's have a look here. So we've got 83 centiseconds. Now, if you want to, you can draw a number line like I did first of all, and plot where 10 seconds and 83 centiseconds would come on the line. But we already know that 83, because it says here, is more than 50 centiseconds. So that's going to be close to 11. So if I'm going to round, I'm going to round that time to 11 seconds. Okay, now I'm not going to help you with the rest because I think you need to practice those. Okay, now if you want to, it says challenge, but if it does help you, plot those times on the number line like we did on the previous slide. Okay, like that. Right, then we go to the next slide because that's not your job over for today. We've got another activity for you to do. Okay, so this is a bit more of a fun activity. Well, not that the last one wasn't fun, but this is even more fun. So what we're going to do is you have got to think about measuring all these activities in seconds. So you're going to need your timer app out. You're going to think about maybe getting someone else to help you or make sure you do this accurately. Because what I want you to do is to find out how long it will take you to do 20 star jumps, drink a glass of water, stamp your feet 20 times, and say your name 20 times. You can add more activity if you want to, or change these activities. You don't have to do them. So use a timer to record your results accurately. Then what you're going to do is record your results in a table. So I suggest you do this first before you do your activities, otherwise you might forget. So 20 claps, I've just made these up, this is not what happened at all, might take you 13 seconds. And can you see? I've used S. Now, quite often your timer might not say 13 seconds or 14 seconds. It might say 13 seconds and 11 centiseconds. So then all you have to do is round it up or down. Because it's 13, I've rounded it down to 13 seconds. And then you might do 20 star jumps, might take you 25 seconds. Don't forget, you might need to round it. So when you've done that for all the activities on the other page, can you just let me know what you found out? You might find out that it took 12 more seconds to do 20 star jumps, then 20 claps. You might find out some lots of different things. So, but if you could record a few statements underneath your table, that'd be fantastic. So today we've been learning about seconds and centiseconds, which sometimes people confuse with milliseconds, but they're not quite the same thing. Okay, I look forward to seeing all your work today. See you soon. Bye-bye.